Overall, there are two sides of the coin, but I think, both these teams are going to be fighting to just make sure that they lock in that grand final spot to really move in nicely. But yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting series, Komodo. Looking at the maps, it does appear that we actually are going to be starting with Overpass, and we do have that one basically ready to rock and roll right now. So guys, again, everyone who is watching, this is one of the big ones here. VERTEX up against Rooster. IEM Sydney 2023 Oceania closed qualifier. Who's going to join Greyhound? We'll find shortly.
Absolutely. And of course, Overpass, Vertigo, and Nuke are going to be the three maps that we get here. So back to Vertigo for the second one, picked out by VERTEX. But I'm excited to see what form Rooster are looking like in this one. We know that they do love a good Overpass, and for right now, they are steamrolling into this B site, but they are getting stopped by Malta.
Yeah, Malta's done really, really well here. Has her embrace, also showing up to the play as well, and PZ will make quick work of Chelios. Straight in from the flank, straight control taken. And VERTEX are taking absolutely no prisoners here in this opening pistol round.
I'm kind of surprised how Malta survived through that, because he was just getting peppered by those Glocks time and time again, but bailed out by Brace. You'll always be welcoming that one. No plant for Rooster, no force buy up. They'll have the proper guns in the next round. Not getting the raid boss strategy that we know when we come to Rooster, right? Those AKs being shuffled over with the deagles, the armor. Kind of looks like a different form of Rooster already.
Straight on into it. VERTEX trying to take their control. Water gathered. Happy with that position for now. Gonna hear the footsteps. Malta continuing to add to his arsenal of frags, already 4-0 up. Happy days. We'll get the smoke back over towards Monster to give himself some extra space. But, yeah, Rooster just going to walk into water. Likely will meet their demise too. Addict, he does get 2.5 or 2 and a bit more with TJP. 6 HP, at least 1 frag found.
Yeah, see what damage that TJP is going to be able to deliver with the Soul and MP9 in this one. And it's going to be nothing, as PZ is going to be able to find him. And just something that's very, very funny and interesting that's come up on me thing here, Conky, is we've got this game for Rooster here against VERTEX. Whether or not they, win or lose, they got another series in this tourney. The next team that they have to fight is Heroic in Pro League. That's their next game, essentially. It's against Heroic.
That is wild to think about. Yeah. Oh my word. Hey, look, sometimes Heroic, they're pretty nuts against some of the big teams, but imagine what they're going to experience playing against Rooster. I don't know if they'll be ready for it, to be quite simple.
Yeah, the unexpected Rooster, that's what we know and love. But for Attic, he is going to be able to get one before being traded out. Some decent damage done, all things considered, onto nettik and TJP. But this is still really early stages as we start to meander up through the middle of the map for them. Eyes on the A prize. PZ is going to be here at the moment with Brace starting to also get towards the site. Currently over at those stairs. Oh, he's actually not.
Good pickup. 80k. Happy with that. Still relatively low, though, on a few of these members. Chelios also getting a little bit of chip damage on towards him as well. So Brace has to play up really, really close. Awkward line. Not a great position to be in at all from that distance. But look, again, you can do the damage. They don't clear TJP, though. We'll pick up the pieces as 80k walks on past. Now it's just left to Malta and Hazard. They will get that one planted. And then they can settle into this post plant nice and easily. But that Molotov will force Chelios back and forward. But it doesn't look like they're overly keen to go for it here.
Nah, you'd love to see them go for a little bit of extra damage if at all possible. 3 of these members on Rooster are at half HP, where these MP9s are just going to be able to mow them down. You get a good upgrade of weaponry too if you are VERTEX, but MP9s, you're trying to retreat, and Chelios has found you. You know where Hazard is now. You'd love to see what damage that VERTEX can do in the next round with the rifles. But it's only going to be that lower loss bonus coming through. Some extra money for Hazard. I mean, himself, Malta, PZ, and Brace, they'll all actually be able to get, something decent of a buy in the next round if they do want to go for one. Addicts cannot. Maybe you're giving a gun over towards Addicts now. You've upgraded to that M4A4. Falling down from the heavens with the explosion. So we'll see if there's going to be a buy from VERTEX here with the jugglings of the weaponry, and that there is. Get all the utility bits that you want. You've got a kit there for Hazard, Malta. I want to see him get one as well. Got 400 to spare. That'll be very unfortunate if it comes back to bite them later on.
Definitely. Going for that early pick, having a look in. PZ doesn't quite make the dunk across. But now pushing up, taking control of connector, as is per tradition. Very aggressive attacking side of T on Rooster. So they always like to look to take that nice and early control. Not allow VERTEX to kind of overwhelm their position. VERTEX obviously a very equipped team on this map as well.
Yeah. You can already see the shuffling from them as well. No immediate fast-paced action from Rooster. No utility over towards the side of B where VERTEX put a bunch of their members. It's more often than not that you do see these 1 to 4 stacks in our region lately when it does come to this map as well. Happy to play 4 players at B and then rotate if you don't see any immediate util. VERTEX taking space over at long, or at least looking to get a little bit closer than maybe ADK is going to be expecting because he's got no teammates to flash him in. He has to do it himself. Whilst his teammates get in towards the site.
Straight on in. Brace. Good response as well to support Addict. Now TJP. This is the man who you're going to have to keep an eye on in this series. Love the frag. They are a couple of members towards long still. VERTEX. Good flash, but doesn't quite work out the way they want it to. So it's still this heavy advantage for VERTEX. TJP has to go hunting. And it's going to be a real awkward one. He can maybe get onto the line here, but Malta has up. They rock up to the party at the appropriate time to help out Addict. And that is the round done. VERTEX straight back into it here to try and retake that control.
It's good awareness from them as well, right? And a good game plan to come up against that buy of Roosters there, making sure that if there is the stack down towards B, that they're going to be having all of their members ready to tackle against Rooster. And then when they don't see any early utility, which sometimes is a really big tell of Roosters, they'll rotate up back towards the A site, and you've got the numbers there to defend. It's pretty heads up, no nonsense Counter-Strike to come through from VERTEX on a Rooster that is a little bit more, you know, in line with teams these days, as opposed to the wild child that they used to be. Still definitely do love when they throw a little bit of mix in it, but wait for later on to see it. The purchase, though, Mitch, that is something that we come to know, right? You got Chell on the AWP, you've got another player with a gun, but then the rest is all these pistols. You're definitely relying upon Chelios to do something big here.
What's the rules of Rooster? Don't pause, don't save. Yeah. And hey, look, a lot of the time it works out for them, and that's why you give them that love and respect that they deserve for it. Fantastic team. One that has shown that, you know, even after some sort of time apart, it is important to have a team that meshes well and all gets along, because, you know, after you know, Chelios very vocally sort of said he was going to wait for this roster to be recreated.
Yeah.
That's when they started to see that success only, you know, a short time after, basically 2 years apart. So, fantastic bunch of individuals. TJP's kind of been the, you know, icing on the cake, I guess you could say. Yep.
Well, speaking about apart, they're a little bit of a worlds apart in terms of their utility at the moment to break down the door that is the A site. You've already got good defensive members here for VERTEX, 3 in fact. They don't really need to be pulling out their utility if they can just spatter these pistols.
Straight down. Brace. 3 big frags. Massive hold! That's a 4th. Does he have the ace in him? No, not quite. nettik is going to be able to respond very well. But he's still going to try clutch this one out. 2 more members now, both out towards the truck. Doesn't really have that many bullets left in the chamber either. It's only 2. And he's just going to have to try and spot it out. There's actually not enough bullets to actually do the damage. Drops down over the hay bed. Gets 1. Oh my. Malta left in the position where he needs to clutch. Could you imagine Brace? Hands on his head.
That shouldn't have gotten that close.
4. Exactly.
That shouldn't have gotten that close. Especially when you hear the clicking that he's nearly out of ammunition as a CT, right? That's why you see the last 2 remaining players of the VERTEX guys try to stampede him, try to overwhelm him. But unfortunately, he couldn't duck his noggin for the protection to get the reload. But he did make a fair effort of it. Try and get that extra player. Nevertheless, VERTEX 4-1. Another Rooster buy. I just got to call it a Rooster buy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense, right? You know, look at the cash, obviously, on the side of VERTEX. Don't really have a whole lot. Reset territory.
Yeah, we'll see what nettik and ADK can do. kind of like to just see them maximize their utility to provide a little bit of a safety net for Rooster to get in, to get some trades in, get a bit advantageous on these peaks, as we've got a little bit of a different deployment from VERTEX, playing the 2-1-1 essentially, or 2-1-2 rather. Bit of rotations later on from Brace to meet with these boys down at the lower B site. And that is where things are looking to be set up from Rooster. If they do decide to shimmy up the connector, you know, there's a possible flank as well from the two VERTEX members at long. So it's almost a great read play for VERTEX, a nice counter for what Rooster have set up here, who are going to be very reliant upon just Chelios throwing in this utility. You'll see the smoke. You'll see probably the 2 flashes to permit entry. And then it's just going to be a mow down on this site.
Easy pickings. Great opening, but good response at the exact same merit. There's nettik responding nicely with 2 on the tray, but that's the dunk down from Brace, who is having a heater over start. Bit of a freeze here to come out from Rooster. Now, you know, this method to try and buy in and upset the economy of VERTEX is working, you know, somewhat, partially, I guess. They get some further damage done. They find Brace. You know, PZ's obviously walked his way out, so it's back to a 2-on-2 at least on site, but...
Yeah. It just feels like there was a bit of ill timing from Chelios here. Unfortunately, that's a nice shot. With those flashbangs to get in towards the site, you saw that there was a little bit of a late lurk down the connector there as well. Mitch,
no!
Hang on a second. That could have been awkward. You're singing Brace's praise, and it looks a little bit whiffy. But as I was saying, you know, Addict, his position to get to the top of connector as well for that little late flank was superb. So you can't really fault VERTEX, even though they have 1 member at the end. They had the right read, they had the right idea. And for Rooster, I feel like if Chelios ripped those flashes a second earlier, they probably come out on top, to be honest.
Another force, as expected. They're just trying their best to make sure it all stays stable here.
Yeah, 3,400 on the loss bonus too.
That's it, yeah.
T side permit a bit of a better buy time and time again with that. And
Always
I mean, you look at Rooster's economy and, you know, you think, all right, they're forcing into everything, missing out on a bunch of utility. They got no cash. The score's 5-1. And the CTs have probably worse cash because they've got no loss bonus built up. So if Rooster just win that round, you know, we're potentially looking at 2 more after the fact because of the economy situation. And then we're in a close series.
Always is going to be. Can never pit these 2 apart. It's usually always a close affair. And VERTEX starting off obviously very, very strong, but that's just where Rooster, you know, continue to apply that pressure. Couple of frags, you know, last couple of rounds, it's been that bomb plant, 1 person alive, having to clutch it out. And with that, you know, it's just 1 round win that Rooster needs to basically net themselves, you know, 2 or 3. Because if it's going to be 1,400 loss bonus, right, with $0 in the bank, they basically have to kind of force their Rooster to find that. But if you just look at the weaponry now, Glills, AKs, all out utility that they need, and VERTEX is down to an MP9 and a FAMAS, you know? It's not great.
And that's the thing about that I was saying, right? With VERTEX only having 1 player survive for 2 rounds in a row, you know the economy is going to be quite fickle. You can already see it in the weaponry. You'll start to see it in the utility in the round after this. If VERTEX survive with 1 player yet again, they're only getting the round win bonus, no loss bonus. So all Rooster need is that 1 victory to try and get that 1 round to turn it into 3. 40 seconds to go before Rooster need to get that bomb plant down or just eliminate all the VERTEX guys. They do have a little bit of extra utility to try and go in for a bit of a take. If you go towards the long side of the map, though, you're going to have to wrestle with Addict. And onto the A side itself, you've got PZ and Brace, who's had a pretty decent start in this map.
Good stuff from Addict again. He was a pivotal member in that previous series against LFO. Now as the utility does start to come out, PZ's ready to keep him at bay. 10 seconds. Does get felled by ASAP, and there's Brace with the response. And Brace has got the 2. nettik last alive in this 1v2, and it's going to be Addict up from the high heavens. 6 rounds for VERTEX. No bomb plant for Rooster. And I mean, look, they still have enough where they'll be tempted to buy again.
I mean, you probably see them buy, not gonna lie. VERTEX surviving with 2 members. I don't think they know that Malta was just with that MP9 because he was so far away. when the round ended up at the connector. He didn't get an upgrade in a weapon, so it's just 3 rifles, 2 submachine guns coming in from VERTEX, which is pretty on par with what Rooster actually have to go in with. Those Tech 9s, quite equivalent to a submachine gun. All the utility is there to try and back them up with these Galils and the AK-47. As they get pretty quick out in towards the dirty waters, it's going to be PZ down connector. Will he be sniffed out by ASAP?
They really need this round now, Rooster. You know, we've seen this force buy back-to-back work out for them, but VERTEX has just been ahead of the curve enough. And, you know, 6 rounds is already starting to make it look pretty damn good as Brace picks up another Malta also there. It's traded out by ASAP quickly, but with no weapons in hand, you know, they are going to be able to recover a M4, and it works out, actually, there in the hands of ASAP. But Brace, again, who has been playing absolutely fantastically. PZ in water, does spot the info, but Brace just wants to buy time as long as possible. Great shot from Chelios. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah,
solid shot. 2v2 now.
Oh, Addict is going to be creeping on up. They're going to try and attempt to counter boost to heaven, potentially, but caught out by the timing. Addict to mow them down. That's a nice bit of, I guess, positionary in that point in time. Catching a Rooster off guard, Mitch. 7-1. And you just have to force if you're Rooster again. You need to try and get these rounds on the board. You're building up loss bonus money. It's at the max. And everything that you're not spending is getting added on to next round's loss bonus. Yeah. You know? It makes sense for Rooster. You're not going to be going into a half buy to get a full buy in the next round because you're getting, quote, enough to play with. Unless you want Chelios on an AWP, everyone on AKs with full utility. That's the only way you're going for a half buy here, but then you're sacrificing a round anyway. And these rounds are getting close.
Now they really are constantly down to 1 or 2 alive, and they're just continuing playing that little dance of not much left. VERTEX, you know, they continue to buy down to the wire. Only just over 2k between all members left in the coffer.
Bit of a quiet one from Rooster to start off yet again. Addict, if he overstayed, potentially loses his life, and that would give a good advantage to Rooster. Maybe the timing. Oh, they have no idea. The spot out, though. How much information and trust does Addict give to that? And he has to give it full respect, doesn't he?
Yeah, PZ's burning as well. Has to join them on site, but there's ASAP with the opener. Addict gets one, but quickly traded by TJ. Finally ripping open the door here will be Rooster, and I just can't tell. Now, VERTEX, they don't want a bar of it. Nah. Straight out, straight looking for that save, and this is where we talk about it. You know, this is where we harp on about this Rooster force buy, and where eventually they will find success. They will be able to put it to a position where VERTEX, you know, this round's just the save, sure, but the reinvestment into the next, how do they look at it? Do they fully force? Do they, you know, just run with the 3 rifles? Do they take the aggression? Whatever it is Rooster potentially lining themselves up for at least a few rounds of a comeback.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're VERTEX, you're one way from at least solidifying this half with a round advantage. You're taking a little bit of a knee in this one. 2 rifles and an MP9 into the next round is going to look okay, but the problem is that they only had 1,400 coming into their pockets, right? There's not enough to give PZ and Addict a weapon, so you're going to have to cut some corners in a round such as this for VERTEX. If we saw this turnout when VERTEX were at 4 or 5 rounds, and that's where Rooster got that round on the board, things would look a little bit more damaging as far as VERTEX are concerned, but because there's 5 rounds of difference right now, this ultimately shouldn't affect VERTEX too hard in their domination on this CT side so far.
Another pause. This is where they have that conversation. So they have forced in. Of course, MP9s, Deagle. Really, they can, you know, make it work. But this is where they start to feel the pressure, right? Where Rooster can really look to bring it back.
What's been discussed for VERTEX in that timeout? Transition all the utility over to the players with the lesser weaponry. Let Malta and Hazza focus on the crosshairs with these rifles. See if you can pilfer one out of Rooster, who are once again trying to get into this short water nice and early. Decent damage on towards nettik. But the rest of that utility is just going to keep them stalled out for a little bit.
Good start again from Malta. Hazza also peeking around to position. TJ does get a good response, but Hazza finding 2. That's going to be the bomb dropped up short, and he can even find a 3rd. Oh my god. Hazza, animal. Very nice round. Solidifying 8 and feeling like potentially, you know, getting VERTEX a little bit out of the dirt. Obviously, Rooster still has plenty of money, even potentially an AWP for Chelios. If TJP wants to dip into the pockets, he will.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said, Mitch, Hazza and Malta sacrificing their utility to their teammates to set them up for success, and Hazza gets 4, Malta gets 1. You couldn't have asked for a better round for VERTEX going into a lesser equipped buy after Rooster takes away your money in the previous round.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. So looking for that pressure again. ASAP straight down connector. Will force VERTEX back once more. PZ. Is that a little bit of a quieter start here? It's very much sort of been Brace and Addict show up until Hazza's pop-off round previously. Malta with a few shining moments.
Well, we finally get to see Chelios with that AWP. I was talking about it earlier. Unless they either won a round or he doesn't buy anything at a round where they're forcing so he can get out that AWP, we wouldn't have seen it. So the fact that they won a round, he's able to bring it out. We need to see some potency come out from him on it. The only other time we saw it was that round where the rest of the guys had full pistols, essentially. And I think nettik had an AK in that one, but he got taken out real early, so it didn't even matter. So when you've got the other weaponry, your other teammates to back you up now, we got to see him do something.
Another freeze. ASAP does get picked up quickly by Addicts. Will that sell the tail of the fake? Because that smoke's still holding. Patience now. Rogue spray from Malta. That gets the info. But nettik now, off the back of that flash from Chelios, it's excellent. Gets the opening 2. Now PZ only with the pistol. Has actually managed to pick up the AWP off the back of it. Lining up, misses the shot. Uncharacteristic. Misses another as well. Now nettik picking up one more. It's a really awkward line. What? Gets the shot in the end, but my word, PZ's AWP brokey.
Yeah, ghost bullets. Every single one of them in my POV looked like they connected. Not gonna lie. That was interesting. But a round for VERTEX is a round set in stone. It's 9-2. And with the money, Mitch, Rooster are going to get all the weaponry. A little bit lackluster on that utility. Wouldn't mind seeing more unless they're going in with a real fast-paced play.
Straight in.
For us. Yeah, down connector a little bit quicker. Brace is going to hear this one.
Great opening shot. ASAP's been picked up again. Hasn't quite found the entries that he's really sort of looking for, and that Molotov will keep them at bay inside connector as well. Chelios just holding the line with the AWP. Rooster looking quite hesitant here in the last little bit, which, you know, again, very out of character for them. VERTEX have just seemed to be in control, and really all you can kind of hope for if you're a VERTEX fan is that this level of momentum that they're carrying right now, this level of confidence, doesn't bite them in the behind in the final if that's where they find themselves.
Absolutely. PZ spotting out those toes. Keep everybody alert on the side of VERTEX. There's no more flashes for Rooster either. With a minute to go, you know, these sort of situations on a map like Overpass, I would not be surprised if you go for a save. If we are at the top level of international CS, these are the situations where you could justify a save because you've got no flashes. You go again in the next round. The problem being you're on the T side.
Yeah.
You got no money behind yourself.
Wait, no money.
Yeah. You ain't getting the flashes.
Well, Jesus. It's 350 between all of them.
Yeah.
You know, walking into that next round is going to be a really, really rough one if ASAP's the only one with cash.
Yeah, Rooster essentially just needs to, well, go and die. Or, as I said, save. And I think next round is going to look a little bit worse than this one in terms of equipment. What would ASAP do? Anyways, just by utility? It's loss bonus, so you could get, you know, you can get a Galil with some Kevlar and something light, but you're probably wanting to set up your team to rush on in. You got 2 smokes, you've got a molly, and whatever ASAP now buys. And that's the double-edged sword of what we're just saying. I was theorizing for 40 seconds, Mitch, a save because there's no flashes. It's exactly what's happened. ASAP's going with a buy. He can get 1 flash. Get 1 flash, drop a flash, get another one for yourself.
This is a strange game, Komodo.
Yeah.
You know, not expecting the Rooster that I'm used to. And ultimately, you know, a similar sort of boat where there's some lacking speed and, you know, a round where, like, Rooster saving? Like, what's going on, basically?
Yeah, a bit of a forced save in that scenario, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, no utility, as you mentioned, to get in there.
Well, and now that they've got, you know, 2 smokes, they've turned it into 1 because they already deployed 1. ASAP has a smoke. Chelios has a flash to try and set up the team to get a kill. Presumably, you want to try and take a flash off your opponent as well if you possibly can, because you're not going to be able to just bully your way through these choke points where VERTEX are realizing there's not much utility coming their way. They are just going to be able to play for time, play for position. You can't plant in the middle of the map. You have to get into one of these sites. And the way this map is designed, there's a lot of angles to lock down things at both of these sites for where those Ts come through. Those choke points are hard to get in dry.
Very, very slow round here. A lot of control given up by VERTEX. Back to Rooster. Allowing them to fill these gaps up towards the bathrooms. Only leaving Brace to take point nice and close. But there's their opening pick. Chelios making good work of the AWP there. Down a very, very important member, but they don't quite clear it. Addict does pick up that frag, which actually doesn't do Brace any favors. A little bit of a scared shot there. Maybe a bit of a blunder, a bit of miscommunication, unfortunately for them. Great shot from Malta, but ASAP, he connects onto Malta. And now Hazza has to just walk away slowly, and that's going to be another round here for Rooster. So we don't have many rounds left, right? It's not like exactly this is going to be a massive turnaround or a big swing round in the half for Rooster, but overall, it's something, right? You know, it still means that VERTEX have to move into that next half with lesser rounds than they would have wished, because Rooster can get in VERTEX's head. That's all we know. We've seen it. So VERTEX need as many rounds as possible on the CT side as they can get.
And it's still a rough one for Rooster as well, right? Because these sort of situations, they've been forcing up time and time again. They've gotten to that top point where their money is not good enough to get these utility bits that they need to try and win these rounds. This one, like last, they're faced with another round where they don't have that much utility, no flashes, but they make it work because VERTEX have 2 players up at that A site. They're able to sneak in, catch off Addict, pulling out utility at the wrong time, and they're overwhelmed. They're actually surviving with 3 for Rooster is really good for them to come for these next 2 rounds, because that gives them enough money in the back pocket with the loss bonus. If they do lose now, they will be able to get a reflect and buy like they have right now. So for these next 2 rounds, if they can convert that to a 5 to 10, you get your pistol round, and your subsequent rounds after that, we start looking at a close one. But if this still does balloon out to a 12 to 3, that's where it becomes a little bit more problematic.
Oh, Brace. Bit hot under the collar there on that boost. They do have a look forward, though. Nothing spotted just yet. Really, really important round here for VERTEX, but exact same said for Rooster.
How much time can Rooster afford to burn as well? We've seen a lot of these rounds go down to the wire, and it hasn't worked out for them. That is a missed shot from PZ, which has been more so characteristic than uncharacteristic in this one, it feels.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Malta's got the AWP this time. Let's see if his works, because it still is a bit of a standstill here. Rooster now making their way outside Monster. They've got their utility set ready to be thrown. Chelios, the IGL, will be tossed an additional Molotov to look to make it work. And now they do start to wriggle on. Malta does get mollied out of his position and has to sort of move around to fill up to try and hold the line of support. Now they move in. There's the opening shot that they kind of needed. As they rush on in, Malta does find another, but there's nettik. Great utility usage from Chelios. Good flash, but Hazza will trade and respond. Still back into this 2-on-2 now, Komodo. And Hazza is going to rip the head out of Chelios.
Oh, no.
Well, ADK, he was on the flank, but with Chelios going down, he's got a lot of heavy lifting to do in the last 20 seconds of this round.
We'll see what he can do to run up and charge, but it almost felt like his teammate had to get out of the short water with the bomb, didn't it? Because now that it's dropped, Attic doesn't need to go for a full challenge. He can just wait for ADK to walk into his crosshairs. If there was a world which that bomb got through and it got up to the A site, that's where you would look to see him get those kills because he can take that forward bank position, but unfortunately not. 11-3 coming to the last round of the half here. And as I said, with 3 surviving 2 rounds ago, Mitch, it does mean whether or not they won that previous round number 14, they will have a decent buy come 15.
No, definitely. Yeah, happy position for them. Just as an update, it's the other stream as well. LFO up against John Industries. LFO quite firmly here as it looks. That's an opening from ASAP here onto Brace. One more round left in the half, Komodo. 4v5, advantage given to Rooster. They desperately need this to get to the 11-4 Zonix Law.
Certainly, they do. Opening kill, you want to see these ones converted. Not a lot of stalling utility from VERTEX either, actually. Single incendiary, single smoke, couple flashes. They're going to be deployed early with a minute to go. That's actually going to bait out a smoke from nettik in short water. And it'll keep VERTEX entertained at B for a little while. Bomb starting to make position up through A long, though. And unless VERTEX get any idea that things are going to tend over towards A, if they're not pushing B, they're not trying to find a way back into this round with a player deficit. So that's where we start to see a peek in from Malta down at the B site. Hazard there as well. There's actually, in fact, only PZ at this A site. If he's good for one, surely he's traded out quickly.
Goes for the early shot. Does miss. Second will connect, though. Now can reposition. There you go. PZ back to his own.
No
He's a
way.
third. Narrowly misses the fourth, but he's still alive. Oh, my God.
I thought he
No
had that.
scope up close from Chelios. That could have been the collateral back for the ace, but they do get to position. Chelios taken down by Malta. Now Chelios on the TJP. Certainly a man who could pull away a clutch, but instead it is going to be Malta who will walk away with that additional round. So it is going to be VERTEX ending out the half, 12-3. No Zonix Law. We'll find out who's going to bring this back shortly after the break.
to let go. Take a chance, touch the sky, and you might just like what you find. Let's risk it all, put it on the line. Go and spread your wings, let's find out if you fly.
And we are back. Whether or not, though, Rooster will be back. It's been a long time coming for them to try and respond with this one. However, VERTEX are not invincible. Certainly not. Chelios gets the audio, knowing that they're running up connector. And it will be an all-out brawl. Classic Glock rush. Chelios with the first taking point.
12-3 is still a pretty scary scoreline when you think about it, though, because a pistol in a second round does mean that when, you know, VERTEX would have their gun, if they lose those 2 rounds, when Rooster's playing, you're still looking at a big scoreline difference. But regardless here, Mitch, nettik needed more than just the one there.
Absolutely. ASAP does get the response, and so does Chelios. So 2 on 4.
Okay.
Make that a 1 on 4. All on a TZ. Pick up one, but it's an awkward line. Once he managed to secure another, he's still alive for a long, long while. But ADK will be able to take him down with the Julies, and that's happy days for the big man as Rooster pick up a 4th round. So there's that pistol, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but we need to see that converted into a bit more, because if they can get the 5th one here, all well and good. But when the guns come into VERTEX's hands, they only need 4 T-sided rounds at the end of the day. Remember, this map, though, sometimes that T-side can be an absolutely fickle thing, especially if you're going force buy after force buy and it just doesn't go your way. Take a little bit more of an E for a team like VERTEX, get that weaponry up in proper possession with all the utility to try and maximize your chances at a closeout here. Because as you said, coming into tomorrow, whichever team gets the victory here does have a bit of extra time to sit and wait to watch that elimination / qualification game to the grand final. Tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Melbourne, Sydney time.
That's the one. Expect to see you all there. As per usual. We'll be diving in. That final elimination game. And then, of course, the qualifying game later in the evening. Very much looking forward to seeing who will join Greyhound. Of course, over at IEM Sydney 2023. Sure, plenty of you watching there will be, you know, historically have been in that crowd and looking forward to being a part of it this time around at the Aware Super Theatre in Darling Harbour, Sydney. I believe personally both of us will be Komodo, if I'm not mistaken. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to what the next round is going to entail if this one does keep on going in the trajectory that we're thinking. A Rooster victory to turn it into 5. We'll wait and see what Attic, Brace, and Malta can do as they silently sneak towards this A side. And the answer is nothing.
Sharp shots. Good money for TJP. So that's the buffer that Rooster really sort of needed. Should give them a kind of happy position. You know, no strangers to a comeback. Orp for Chelios. Couple of for Masters. Still holding on to that MP9. Rooster likely not to shy away from anything aggressive here. So they'll look to make their way up close and personal with those short-range weapons or the, you know, kind of lacking equipment up against what VERTEX have now pulled out. PZ has to drop to the Galil, but everything else is all hunky-dory.
Yeah, that early utility from Rooster over towards the top of T stairs as well. It's the Molly and the HE grenade. It's going to bring out a smoke from VERTEX accordingly. See what sort of fundamentals they look for in a round such as this. Do they expect Chelios to be bringing out the big boomstick or not? No immediate time. If he'd stayed around a little bit later, potentially could have found an opening pick. But as he starts to fall away, that's where VERTEX starts to scale up. I believe there's also been a missed smoke from Rooster over at the B side of the map outside Monster. Need to recheck that one. Oh, that's a nice tight line.
Very nice shot. That'll be the starting point here as Malta does manage to respond onto nettik, but you know Chelios is keen for another frag. And he will actually manage to find Malta inside the fire and the flames. He will be sent away. Has to go back towards the bank, but there is money there for him. And that's all on a PZ. 1 versus 3. Certainly a winnable prospect, but ADK coming up from Connector. A little bit late, but he arrives to the party just on time as everyone cheers him in. Now only 6 rounds of difference, and another eco having to be considered here from VERTEX.
Yeah, 12-6. There's that first gun round shut down. The T side can have its massive woes. CT prowess when it comes to Overpass. But we will see how long that VERTEX can potentially try and get these rounds to their name before Rooster do equalize. If Rooster do equalize.
Looking a little easy for nettik there. Great flash from Chelios in as per usual, but nettik does get the response. So at least something here. You know, just like Rooster did obviously to VERTEX in that previous half. Just constantly trying to play the economic game. The more damage VERTEX does, the harder it's going to be for Rooster to continue to buy back. But for now, Rooster still have healthy-looking economy. TJP, the only one relatively low alongside nettik. Everything else is all happy, though, for a repurchase if needed.
Yeah, a minute to go. Again, just these sort of rounds to see what damage VERTEX is going to be able to do. See if you can read in any tendencies of what Rooster are looking to throw at what times in these rounds. Try and exploit that when you've got guns in your hands in the next one.
Such a slow round here. VERTEX now looking to creep their way through. ADK already there. Pin pulled, ready to get it sent out. Good nade, hopefully from ASAP. It will be. Race staying very low, same with PZ. They walk on through. ADK is going to be ready for it. Playing anti-flash, and it's a quick spin around for the man. And the round is done. 7 now for Rooster, closing that gap. 5 the difference. But VERTEX is going to have that additional full bar to come in now to the 20th.
Yes, 12-7. When you think of that 12-3, the gap starts to close. But this is the time for VERTEX to get on the board. They have all of the utility, all of the guns that they want. PZ on the AWP, hopefully this time. Shots to connect. Not them dastardly ghost bullets that go nowhere. Again, that standard set of utility from Rooster. The incendiary and the HE grenade. Race had to wait out from those. But apart from that, bit of headroom, being led in by Malta. Short water controlled. And Chelios has even been retreating from his line over at A long yet again. So, for the Rooster guys over at B, they have to be ready for an explosion of sorts, an execution of sorts.
Has been sort of a very slow mid-round here. Not much of that contest. Rooster happy to play back. Not really looking to fight down Connector. Fight up mid. Very much going to allow VERTEX to come to them. Which for the most part usually is A-OK. Chelios straight onto that line again. He was awarded with a frag onto Addict a few rounds ago. So he needs to be careful. Utility up. Still looks like they're not set with their sights on A. With a couple of members still lurking over towards B.
Oh, look how split all the VERTEX members are, though. 2 towards B, 2 towards A, then the bomb in Connector. Almost feels like they're waiting for an opening tick, and now that we've got one at the B side, there's going to be a double swing out from the Rooster members. But meanwhile, you've also got a duel happening at the A side of the map. Everything's happening around at the moment with 20 seconds to go. Mitch, and it's just TJP to drop the bomb. He's got a one-on-one here, because for Addict, he's at the top side of the A side of the map, starting to come on down through the maze. But it doesn't matter, as Hazard takes out TJP. Luckily enough, 13 seconds to go. VERTEX get their first T-sided round on the board.
That could have gotten really, really spooky there, Komodo, right? You know, TJP, he's certainly a man that knows his way around a clutch. But it doesn't work out for him this time. They managed to buy enough time where the pressure starts to get applied from heaven. And VERTEX will find their first round of this T-side. 3 more to go before they manage to walk away with Overpass. Of course, Vertigo is around the bend, which we obviously did see earlier with a relatively strong victory for VERTEX over LFO, who right now, over on that B stream, is John Industries leading the charge, 10-9 on Inferno. So Plenty of wild things do be occurring right now, as is tradition in Oceanic Counter-Strike.
Yep. Can already see what impact that one T-side round has on a CT economy that's not been built up, right? You're out of kits for the whole squad. You got a player down on an MP9 just to make sure that Chell gets that AWP, but when you need it the most, it's not actually at this B site, Mitch.
Great opening there from Malta, managing to actually slip away from it as well. Relatively unscathed, still has HP to work with. But that's a well-earned entry in towards this round. Again, no real presence taken up by Rooster so far on the mid-extremities. You know, this map usually does sort of reward that aggressive play early on.
Yeah. A smoke and 2 flashes, though, for Rooster. You're going to have to do something soon, potentially. 40 seconds to go. You're a player down. There's 2 approaches here. You can either stack that B site still, let Chelios try and see if he can get 1 pick over at the A site and then fall away for a retake at the 4 versus 4. It'll be difficult because you've got no utility, so maybe he has to just stay and fight. But you can do that 2-2 to try and put up a little bit more of a defense. All this utility starting to come over to this B site at the moment is actually going to draw Chell onto this B site. I actually thought he was up on A by that radar, but nevertheless, they stacked on towards the B site, and it's all a bit of a fake. The bomb to be planted up at A, free of charge. No one's home. You wish the rent was a little bit lower.
Yeah, right, that's a save.
Yeah, rent-free round. Rooster, hang on that save.
Straight in. It's expensive, the cost of living these days. And Rooster have absolutely agreed on it. Not really much money to throw together between the 4 of them still alive. Obviously, we'll get a level of loss bonus. ADK should be able to buy up a weapon for himself. Some utility to replenish. But, you know, that's VERTEX with 14. And basically, you know, they win that 15th. Obviously, Roosters completely broke. They have to force in Deagles, pistols, whatever. So VERTEX have set themselves up nicely for a victory here. And it's really sort of giving them that kind of hope that they need for the rest of this. But as we have seen it before, VERTEX come through the upper bracket swinging, and then Rooster manages to fight through. And, you know, Rooster's already bested John Industries. If LFO managed to lose to John, then it's, you know, Rooster with another very winnable match before they line up against VERTEX. But then again, you know, Rooster also not going to be afraid of LFO by any means. So it is likely that we see these 2 teams again in the final, irrespective of outcome in this series. But you do get a level of bragging rights by starting off strong in this upper bracket final.
Yeah, 2 more rounds, though, potentially here for VERTEX to close out Overpass. Bit of a slower start yet again. The utility over at that short water already expended. Hazard actually has a very nice opportune timing here to open up into the site. Hoping for a flash from a teammate to go into the peak. There's the pin pulled and the flash is in, but it doesn't make its mark. It's actually a team flash, in fact, as well, and that is not going to be working out for VERTEX. Shut on down. No entry into B, Mitch. And a lot of time to still try and contend within this round. 2 players gone. 1 at a deficit. Not a lot of utility.
And Malta does manage to spot out both ADK and TJP. They are still basically setting their sights over towards this B position as they do walk their way up Monster. ADK, just again, with that smoke popped, ready to go. Utility does start to come out. They will be able to Molotov off short here. And once again, ADK in position. Does get forced back, though, by the Molotovs here. TJP is going to be the one to try and do the heavy lifting here, but ADK will be able to fell. Malta, quick with the trade. PZ, though, another. That brings it back to the 2-on-2 here. Komodo Chelios is going to be able to look to get that boost up. Does he get the shot? He's been spotted. Nicely done. Now PZ, 1 versus 2. They both swing out together. He does have the AWP. Flash to bounce off the wall. Does he find the timing? No. nettik rings true. Holds his medal. And that's a 8th round here for Rooster.
Yeah, that 4 versus 3 certainly looks achievable when it's on the 2 versus 2, doesn't it? The quick boost out for Chell to get that one. 14-8. Draws within 6. Money situation for VERTEX, though, with those 2 rounds that they've been able to find. It's still looking pretty darn good. So they'll have a full equipped buy coming in towards this round. But do they start to change it up? Right, we've seen this B side of the map be the target time and time again. Chelios is starting to move around the map. No longer positioning himself over at A long for the beginning.
Easy, straight through the molly. Looking for this pick towards long, and Rooster really has not tempted fate through mid any of these rounds on this CT side. Been very, very chill, you know, heavily stacking up towards B, very much letting VERTEX come to them, which, you know, has worked for a big chunk of this half, but with VERTEX finding a little bit more of a wriggle on now, 2 more rounds is all they need. They've got money, you know, they still have another buy after this one if they're unsuccessful. Where Rooster can't really say the same for them.
How much pressure do Rooster start to feel knowing that if there's a round done, it could be over here because they don't have their own economy built up. Put your focus on towards the next map of Vertigo. But 6 rounds, as I said, try and contend with, try and finish up. Grenade stack is actually going to miss its mark. Oh no, ADK walks into it, but he doesn't meet with all 3, just the 2. He's still a kicking with 27. And on the back of that utility, VERTEX not going to be going into the B site because it didn't merit a frag. And just have to keep it cool, calm, and collected. That being said, Mitch, 30 seconds to go.
They do like to wait for it, don't they? Really leaving it late, and that's going to be nettik finding Brace. They are locked into a fantastic position here. No utility to flush him out of the cubby. They are going to start to look for him, but no, the timing doesn't fare them at all. That's the bomb drop. They look very disconnected here, VERTEX. No real movement at all. No comfort, no nothing. PZ on the line. He does get another frag, so they should be able to live away with these weapons, which is okay. They are going to have another purchase, but I wonder what really happened in that round. VERTEX, the wheels fell off, and maybe that's Rooster sort of lulling them into a false sense of security, and then they just look a little bit lost as they go for that site take.
Yeah, I almost feel like VERTEX were in the mindset that if that triple grenade stack got a frag over to the B site, that's go time. Couple flashes over, get into the site, overwhelmed with numbers. But because it didn't get a kill, they were very unknowing on what the positions were looking like from Rooster. And with less than 30 seconds to go, it's not the optimal amount of time to just get in towards the site and get that plant. So it's a bit rough for them. This time, however, an opening kill nice and early. Hazard with 25 HP to spare. And they can settle 30 seconds before getting an execute in.
Yeah, an interesting one. You know, I was talking about how Rooster aren't really overly keen to kind of go for that mid fight, but that's the first time they do, and it's dry for nettik, you know, trying to get the catch, and doesn't quite work out for him. So the advantage going the way of VERTEX, albeit Hazard taken rather low. Chelios right onto the line. They are setting their focus towards B once more, but they are ready for it here. ASAP. Flash down. Here's it. ADK should get some info. We'll be able to take at least one. He's taking very, very low. Hazard has to be so careful. Great flash over the top. And this could very well be 15, Komodo. It is going to be 2 more in this. 1 more round to go if they find 15.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? If they find 15, do Chelios and TJP contend with a retake? If they got a quick pick from Chell, if that smoke didn't go to the heavens, maybe. But everything can come crashing down if you don't save this weaponry for the next one because you don't have too much behind it. You've got a bit of loss bonus. I think they're at 1900 at the moment. So even with that, even if it was 2400 on the CT side, you know, it's still not that much to establish a buy. And look at this from Brace as well. If he can remove the AWP, that makes things all the more difficult for Rooster because you know TJP needs to get that back. You know they need a good weapon in the next rounds. And what a flash to come through as well. That's nothing being carried over for Rooster in the next round. And that money, actually, Mitch, it was at 1400. It was reset. It wasn't even at 1900.
Fully done. That's the thing. No real recovery. It's going to make it very, very awkward here now for the side of Rooster. All pistols. Chelios with his famed scout. And that's basically all they really sort of wrote here. There is still opportunities to get it done. You know, if they do manage to kind of re-scrape, you'll never count them out. They did have a response, but it seems like Vertigo is inevitable with VERTEX at an advantage.
See what these little pistols can do, though, Mitch, because we've seen more done with less. You know that as good as I. Is this the map done and dusted, though, here? Chelios over at the A site by himself. The rest of the squad over at B. Try and play a little bit of chaos with these pistols. Throw a spanner in the works. VERTEX can start to really just scale up the map little by little. Don't have to deploy too much of their utility if they're doing due diligence just to clear a lot of these corners. This is where we'll start to see them peer into the A site. A couple of smokes, a couple of mollies, clearing all of the corners that the members of Rooster could be hiding. And now you hear a scout. Now you know what you're contending with at this A site.
Narrowly missing the shot. Hazard does get taken down very, very low. Plenty of damage has been dealt, but Brace and Malta do manage to slip the wickets and get a couple of frags in the process. 3v5 here. The advantage really slipping away. Rooster look like it's basically over here in this position. They still will have another fight through another map at the very least. Nuke there if we need it to, but right now VERTEX, they dip their toes in towards the spawn and they will line up. PZ Malta closing out the round here. So it's a 16-9 victory here for VERTEX over Rooster, putting themselves at an undefeated streak so far in the evening, which is a fantastic result for them. You know, you always question how they're going to kind of line up against Rooster.